Welcome back, guys, to the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. Well, last episode, having examined the pocket watch to learn that the key we had found earlier was for winding it up, we noted that the watch was working fine. Figuring out that the time of death might not be at all accurate due to Gregson's daily ministrations on his treasure, foreshowing how the gunshot could have been faked with the candelabrum and the firecracker. With Gregson's last case having had him look into the Red-Headed League, we now bring two court criminals to the stand to testify after a recess. Oh, there you are, Odo. What kept you, my dear fellow? Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Gina? You sure about what you said in there? I don't know if I'm actually completely sure about what I said there. For one point, I actually thought that a certain lady in there had not just entered the room but moved the noteboard, and I said that in the intro. I was like, I really thought that happened. That shows you what a few days away from play can actually do for your memory and trick you into believing something different. But the boss, you know, actually died the day before. It's pretty hard to swallow. I'm amazed we got to here when I was working off bad logic. Yes, I was shocked by the revelation too, Gina. As was I, possibly more shocked than both of you. It's not a competition, Mr. Sholmes. But I was more shocked than all of you put together. This is the autopsy report in question, is it? Yes, it's strange that there's no time of death noted. I suppose there's a simple explanation, or perhaps it was a deliberate omission. Oh dear, if it was deliberate, it puts me in mind of the last case we worked on, and Dr. Seif. I know. Anyway, it seems that on the day before Lord Van Zieks discovered his body, Inspector Gregson was investigating the Red-Headed League, so perhaps something happened with them. Come to think of it, you had trouble with those League men too, didn't you, Mr. Sholmes? You were taken in by their trick. No. Naturally, I wasn't taken in, as you put it. My sleuth-hound interest was merely piqued slightly by the rare scent of a weekly £4 income. And that scent masked the underlying scent of deception, I suppose. The two criminals in question are the pair we saw being arrested yesterday, aren't they? In Mr. Sholmes' suite, I mean. That's right, Suze. And it was me what took him in. Thanks to the tip-off by a good law-abiding citizen. Indeed. Yours truly. So it's going to be that pair in the witness stand next, is it? Something doesn't quite make sense to me, though. The day before Inspector Gregson was found, you hadn't had trouble with the Red-Headed League yet, had you? Why would the inspector have been investigating them? Well, the likely explanation would be that Gregson's own sleuth-hound interest was piqued by the rare scent of a weekly £4 income. Don't tar with the same brush as you, Sholmes. Yes, well, then there's the whole issue of Inspector Gregson being investigated by Lord Van Zieks for some reason. The Reaper, the Red-Headed League, Inspector Gregson, Lord Van Zieks, and Casimir. I feel as though he knew we'd arrive at this point somehow. Gosh, I think you're right. What's he really trying to achieve here today? All the answers will soon be revealed. Observe the time, my dear fellow. This recess will be over fairly shortly. Yes, you're right. Casimir was determined that he should be the one to prosecute this trial. And he was determined that I should take the defense. Just what is it that he's hoping to make me see, I wonder? I get the feeling we're a long way from the end of this trial yet. Are you ready then, Miss Susato? Yes! And so we return to court. Because I'd love to jog my memory about what these guys look like. I know they're redheads. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. We resume the closed court hearing of Baruch Van Zieks, here present, who stand accused of murder. And now then, Prosecutor Asugi. My lord, have you summoned the witnesses as requested? Yes, the two members of the Red-Headed League who planned and carried out the deception. They arrived not long ago from the local prison by police carriage. Very good. Bailiff, usher the two men into the courtroom. These two men are currently being held by the police on suspicion of attempted extortion. You may omit your occupations, but state your names now for the court. No, don't omit that bit. I am Fabien Delossu, a descendant of the great Delossu family from Nice, en France. And my name is Peppino Di Rossi. I am the third son of the great Familia Di Rossi, the landowners from Napoli. The two men first became acquainted at a boarding school for European nobility. Those who graduated from Temsic are the future leaders of Europe. But, do you have any idea how boring it is to be born with noble blood? Alors, I make it my mission to get the better of the world by employing the little grey cells of my brain. That is all I am trying to do. Sure. So, that's the only reason for this whole grand deception you've been carrying out. Oui. You could say that. Not bad, aye. Yes, the grand ideals, but the petty plans. This strange combination is the charm of the hilarious brothers. Si, capo. Listen to me, Peppino. I have two things to say to you. Che? Are you about to tell me one of your grandi anecdotes? Evviva! Firstly, I want you to stop calling me this capo. And secondly, we are not the hilarious brothers. This is serious business. Che bello, there it is, the capo's trump card, the furrowed brow. It is deep, capo, the furrow and the meaning of your words. The court has been led to believe that under the banner of the Red-Headed League, you have conspired to swindle money from unsuspecting members of the public. Is this true? Oui, c'est ça. And what exactly was the nature of the deception by which you planned to defraud? Alors, I will explain it. No, capo. Leave it to me. As you see, we both have the vivid red hair, no? At school, we were teased for this without pity. The capo here, he was many times behind the schoolhouse crying like the cherry fountain. Whee, those dogs, one day the world will respect us redheads. Every night he would bury his head in his pillow and weep for the injustice. C'est bien, Peppino. Enough, I will explain the rest. The first step was the newspaper advertisement. About 1 week before the plan was put into operation, we listed the same notice in every paper in London. Yes, we saw that notice. It was this one, I believe. Entitled to the Red-Headed League. Oui, c'est ça. I am honored that you have seen it. It states that the only condition for joining the league is having flame-colored hair, and that if you satisfy the interview panel and are admitted into the league, you could receive a weekly income of £4. On the date specified, red-headed hopefuls gathered in droves at a park specified in the advertisement, and from each person present, this pair took an application fee of 5 shillings. And with the money to France, it was a plan most elegant, no? No, it was most dishonorable. But to be frank, I'm stunned that anybody was foolish enough to be taken in by such an obvious trick. The park was described by one witness as choked with red-headed folk, like Acosta's orange barrow. And the day on which all these men gathered to apply was the day before the victim was discovered. Crucially, these two men spoke face to face with every single person present that day. Oui, I have seen more red-headed people in one day than I will see in the rest of my life. See. And then now, every time I see the couple's hair, I feel sick to my stomach. Anyway, why have we been summoned here today? Sorry. The date for our trial was not until tomorrow, I was told. Naturally, neither of these men have been told any details about this trial. They've only been shown this photograph.
Very good. So, Mr. De Rosso and Mr. De Rossi, you will now give your formal testimony for the court on the subject of the gentleman pictured in this photograph.
Of course. We are always ready to help the law. I really wanted to take a look at Mr. Rosso, if I say that at all correctly, which is probably incorrect, as many other things that I say are. Again, because of that picture, because I was like, it's, monotone. Does that guy have red hair? They do look somewhat significantly different. A longer face-ish, yes, but those eyebrows aren't crazy. It's trying to bring attention to a furrowed brow. They don't really seem too much the same. So I'm wrong, though they still got that square jaw. Is it a disguise? Is it not? Am I really barking up the wrong red-headed tree? The man in the photograph. Not the photograph I'm looking at, though. We had more than 1,000 red-headed people assembled in the park on Lime Street that day. But I don't recall the man in this photograph. Hi, Capo. No, I don't remember him. Obviously, he is dead now. But I assure you, he was not in the park. Hello, this victim has had nothing to do with us. You have a lot to answer for, Peppino. It is your fault that we got caught in the first place. Court record, please. You've given sworn testimony that this man in the photograph was not present. Can you be certain? I mean, he's very certain that he's dead. Oui, I'm quite certain. We did not interview this man. Nobody looking like this came to the park. This I can promise.
Must be noted that it must be noted that you have been arrested for a grand deception, however. Accordingly, this court has little confidence in your assurances.
Ufa! With this attitude, we get nowhere, He's really sulking now. This confidential document was obtained directly from Scotland Yard. It records an entry from the inspector's private diary dated the day before the incident. It reads, Lime Street, Red-Headed League, undercover. I have the answer. Maybe there was another similar event in the park on the day in question, eh? That is ridiculous. There's no question that Inspector Gregson was investigating the Red-Headed League. Which means it's quite possible that that's when he was killed.
Very well. The defense may proceed with the cross-examination now.
Yes, my lord. Well, all the accents, the flitting from Italian and French and all that, Z's and the A's, and the says which I don't know how to say. He's throwing me for quite a loop in just talking the lines of dialogue at this point in time. So here we go. We had more than 1,000 red-headed people assembled in the park on Lime Street that day.
Hold it!
1,000 people? That's a very big crowd. It was quite a spectacle. Redheads had come from all over the capital. See, the capo here, he has the magnetismo animale, eh? Nobody else could attract so many people. If I could be born again, I would be the capo. All those people wanted for the money, Peppino. The £4 per week.
Are you suggesting that you spoke personally with all 1,000 applicants?
Oui, that we did. Because every one of them paid us 5 shillings. We take their names and we take their money. And we take their addresses as well. Then I tell them we take some days to let them know by a post. Finito. Maybe 2 minuti a person. We start early in the morning and we stop late in the night. So you earned 5,000 shillings in one day. That's a small fortune. Who would have thought there were 1,000 such gullible redheads in London to start with? One of whom was a great detective with chemically altered hair. But I don't recall the man in this photograph. Capo?
Hold it!
doesn't look at all familiar. No, I don't think so. And this is a wig, eh? He was trying to trick us. I do not like the people who are trying to trick the other people, but that's what you're doing. Also, look at his, mustache and stuff. Says the con artist. If between them they interviewed 1,000 people with red hair, it would be unreasonable to expect them to remember every face. No, senor. I may be small, but my memory is very large. I never forget a thing. In my opinion, I do not think this man was in the park. But he's not going to give the court a definite, it seems. Hey, Capo, you didn't see a man like this, huh? No, I don't remember him. And obviously he is dead now, but I assure you he was not in the park. Hold it! But according to what you've said, you spoke with 1,000 or more people that day. Oui, that's true. My eyes were burning by the end of the day. Surely then you can actually remember every single face. How are you so certain that this particular man wasn't present? Normally, the red hair is very distinctive, eh? But not when you have 1,000 redheads crowding around. Then it is just an eyesore. But if there was some other information you could give us, then maybe we could recall. That is not the line, Peppino. Remember, we do not remember him. We are sure of that fact, huh? If there was a man with a red hairpiece but his mustache did not match the color, then I do not think I could have forgotten him. Casper said these two had only just been shown that photograph and they'd been told nothing else at all. But what if I fed them just one other detail about the victim? For example, his name, his fish and chips, surely. I mean, they wouldn't get his name. He might have been holding fish and chips. He might have not been holding fish and chips. His profession actually seems the more important things that might spook them a little bit. Because suddenly, if you're being asked about a cop killing, that's like super duper serious. More so than just a normal killing because of just how law enforcement react to it. So, yeah. Also, I'm pretty sure all of these have been the middle answer thus far. His fish and chips. Surely he wouldn't bring it there while he's... Well, I guess he'd bring it everywhere. He brings it to crime. He eats over dead bodies, for goodness sake. I don't know. I can certainly appreciate that just knowing the man had red hair wouldn't help you remember in this situation. What if I told you that the man in the red hair piece was actually a detective? The man is a photograph, a detective. Yes. It would appear he found your notice in the paper suspicious and decided to investigate incognito. I think we are barking up the right tree here. There was definitely a comedy option, though. Sorry, but this changes nothing. Ah, it does, though.
Excuse me.
Something to add, Mr. De Rossi? Yeah, see, I am always adding something. Parmesan, olive oil, pepper. Sounds great. What I mean is, did you not agree with your friend's last remark by any chance? Eh? What did he just say about the detective? Yes, that. Keep your mouth shut, Peppino. You have said enough already. But why, Capo? What is the problem? There was a man who said, I am not an inspector from Scotland Yard. Oh my god. No, he said, I am an inspector from Scotland Yard. I read that really wrong. I thought he was really blundering. I am honestly not a police. He said he's not a police. That means he's not a police. I am an inspector from Scotland Yard. What? Good lord.
Order! 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 Explain this volte-face in your testimony, witness.
It's simple. A man who was out at the park said to us that he was an inspector. There was no such man. Mate, hey, what are you saying, Capo? Have you forgotten, eh? I have forgotten nothing. Nobody likes this came to the park. Basta, Capo, basta. You beat me at many things, but not two. The memory and the meals. Like I said, when it's time to eat the pasta, no one is faster. But you are inferior to me in every other way, so shut up!
Objection!
Ugh! Top Dad, the damage is done!
Indeed it is, sir.
There was a man who came to the park and he said he was an inspector from Scotland Yard. However, he looked nothing like the man in the photograph. He was someone else. How could you be so sure? Because, to start with, his face was completely different. See, it's true. The man who came was younger. His face was clean-shaven, his eyes were sadder, his chin was thinner.
No resemblance whatsoever, then.
Anyway, I was not going to be fooled. I took the obvious precaution and said to him, if you are really a detective, show us the proof. See, the couple here. He doesn't take a no-nonsense, eh? But he was well prepared. He said he had identification. Identification? You mean official police inspector's identification?
And that is most unconvincing.
Sorry, my lord.
Hey, counsel. No incognito inspector would offer his identification for inspection. It's quite out of the question.
Definitely. Why would he expose his true identity? Clearly the papers are fake. Certo, capo. You are a genius. As we say in Italia, it takes a thief to recognize another, eh? And what happened after he announced that he was a detective? He became very annoying. He said you are under investigation. So I took his papers from him and chased him out of the park. It was fantastico! And look, here is the identification! So you stole it from the man? He had it coming. He made us very scared. But he was not who he said he was.
Indeed, the person described does not appear to have behaved as a true inspector would. However, I believe it would be prudent for these identification papers to be entered into evidence.
But I like them. Okay, the identification of a man claiming to be a detective inspector, confiscated by Mr. Delosso and Mr. Delossi. Gregson's character is not besmirched.
Now let us return to the witness's testimony.
We should probably look at this.
I'm not reading until I've read. Or looked.
Metropolitan police warrant card. Well, I suppose we should see what this inspector's identification looks like inside. I probably should have checked the outside too, but I just started flipping to see if there's anything on it. Can you actually see the front? No, you can't. Nothing to do. Yes, it definitely looks fake, doesn't it? Out of interest, what name is given? Probably just something plucked out of the air. It's Tobias Gregson. Wait, what? This Scotland Yard insignia looks genuine to me. Oh ho ho! But how? And the department and identification number details are all correct as well. Since when have you known those? Do you mean to say... I know it seems incredible, but yes. I think this is a genuine identification book issued by Scotland Yard. But that's unbelievable. This is the real thing after all. The details of the inspector's identification have been updated in the court record. Taken from him, but wasn't the person who had it? Whoosh. Alors, this victim has nothing to do with us. I mean, there's a very definite link now.
Hold it!
Do I try to prove that, or do I press first? But we only have your word for that. See, but what else can we do, huh? True. Oofa. We are not having much fun these days. First we are arrested, then we are shown the horrible picture of a dead man. And now you question every single thing we say. We are the victims here. Hey, capo. No, you were caught carrying out a plot to swindle hundreds of innocent people. You had to bring that up, eh? It's not fair. Hey, Capo? You have a lot to answer for, Peppino. It is your fault the vehicle was caused in the first place.
Hold it!
What do you mean by that? Cavolo, you promised not to say, eh, Capo? After we had taken all the money that day, we should have left the country. That was my plan. I left the purchasing of the tickets for the ferry to Dunkirk to my companion here. But he bought them for the long day. Oops. See, but it's an easy mistake to make, the 31st. Boff, I have no sympathy for you. We were all day late for the boat because of your stupidity. It is only because of this that the so-called Great Red-Headed Detective caught us. Capo, you know what I think? This is the work of God. It's a holy punishment, eh? Peppino, for the last time. This is not only punishment. This is only your fault. Ah! Don't blame God for your unholy mistakes. You are making me sick with anger. Maybe I make a mistake, but when it's time to eat the pasta, no one is a faster. And I've seen the evidence. They haven't told us much we didn't already know. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, if it was in the inspector's diary, it seems likely that he must have gone to Lime Street that day. And yet these two both claim they didn't see him. I have to say, they don't appear to be telling lies. Well, they are experts in deception, don't forget. Sounding plausible is their speciality. They may be lying simply to avoid being implicated in this case as well. Surely if they were truly experts in deception, they wouldn't have been caught. Well, yes, you do have a point there. It seems to me like we need more information. Definitely. Well, I think I've got, like, a thing. If most of 1,000 people assembled the park on Lime Street that day. But I don't recall the man in this photograph. Eh, Capo? So it wasn't him. But he was not in the park, and that seems to actually be true now. On the basis that someone presented them Tobias Gregson's warrant card. Someone else came. Oh Lord, this victim has nothing to do with us. I mean, you literally had his warrant card presented to you by the look of it. So yeah, there's a tentative link, and we need to... I think we just present the warrant card because we want them to describe as much of the person who held this card as humanly possible, right?
Objection!
I wonder if I could ask you to examine this identification book very closely. Or more to the point, yeah, you're holding these warrant cards. You need to tell us. Mr. Strad? Why Mr. Strad?
What is your intention here, Counsel?
Is this really a fake, or is it genuine? That's the question. Which we can answer ourselves.
Objection!
Which we kind of did answer ourselves. Don't be ridiculous. No Scotland Yard detective would allow his or her identification to be stolen. That is the boss's. No question about it. It can't be. As I suspected. The undercover detective who attended the Red-Headed League's enrollment on the day in question was the real Inspector Gregson, carrying out an incognito investigation. Was it? The laws! I think there's an element of doubt here. Or am I just continuing to be out of it?
Order! Order!
But if the boss had his identification stolen, he would have reported it straight away, unless he couldn't. I mean, he was always on me about it. If you lose something, report it at once, you say. Could it be then that the inspector was physically unable to report it? Physically, eh? What are you saying? Unable to... You're not suggesting... Yes, it's quite possible that he was killed before he had the chance to report his identification stolen. No. Well, the killing is where the identification was stolen.
Order! Order! Order!
A defense posits that the victim was killed the day before his body was discovered at a different location. Do you two have anything to say about that? I know nothing. I done nothing. Pull yourself together, Peppino. Mon Dieu, you could behave a little more like a master criminal than that, no? Now I wish I had returned to Italia. So stop crying, Peppino, please. Otherwise, Let me stop your whining and start talking.
Well, I believe the court will need to hear your story in considerably greater detail.
I know nothing. I done nothing. But you will tell everything, or face the worst possible outcome. Ugh.
You will dry your eyes and testify again about these identification papers and the precise circumstances under which you came by them.
For crying out loud. And so with one more I leave you for this episode of the Great Ace Attorney to resolve, where these two have me on tilt. It seems like this is just a case of on tilt at this point in time, because I think my mind's trying to lead me to places to present or go in the future, and it's all the in-between that is now completely tripping me up here, there, and everywhere because of that fact. But with a new testimony, hopefully we can kind of get things back on track. The detective and the identification will be heard next time. I'll see you guys then for more. Bye-bye.